3 minutes to an hour, so we're going to fit it in there. Trust me on that. But seriously, I would rather not have accepted this award. I'd rather do things quietly, as you said. But I decided to accept this, and accept it really on behalf of my father and our family. And that's really all that is standing here. So I want to thank the Bristol Boys and Girls Club, its board, the humanitarian committee that selected us for this honor, and take, the time to accept this award. Please let me acknowledge the people that have helped me besides, needless to say, my mother and my father, Steve Sr., to be present here tonight. And we'll tell you something that's not true anymore. My mother would always say, you always know who the mother is, but you not necessarily know who the father is. That's not true anymore from everything I know about DNA. But she honest to God would say that. I still believe my father was our father, though. But we used to have a milkman with the things, too, so it's all true. Yeah, the Charlie Chip, all that stuff. I wish to thank my wife, Dorothy. I wish to thank my son, Stephen. I wish to thank Skylar's mom and dad, my daughter, Deanna Martine, as well as my grandson, Skylar. And also I have my brother, John, and his wife, Lorraine. Now here's another great thing with my mother. She kept things simple. I'm Stephen John Barberino Jr., Steve Barberino Sr. There is John Stephen Barberino. We can sign legally each other's names. Have we ever done that? No, we don't. And I want to thank my friends at Stephen Cadillac, GMC, and Toyota, the dealership with a number of my extended family that have been, as believe it or not, over 40 years. We have Victor McQuarrie, we have Bob Masro, we have Stan Dopart, Donna Genazzo, Paul Esposito, Andy Hall, Devin Silvestri, Barbara Zako, Sherry Crowick, Brian Betancourt, Dave Simonin, Dave Griswold, Don Basil, Steve Cianciola. And believe it or not, I'd like you to stand up for one quick moment. Please stand up. And really, I just want to show, these are the people that have made this possible, that we can do these donations in this community. Nothing happens unless you have great partners. I want to acknowledge Patricia Tomlinson on behalf of the Farmington Bank. I have Steve Wright sitting over there. He's with GMC Truck. He's our district manager. But I really want to commend as a partner and true partner. Toyota has always been a great partner. And when we decided to start committing the $10,000, Toyota has matched us every year and put in an additional $10,000. Is our district manager, but I want Jeff Buchanan, our regional manager, to stand. I want you to see how tall this man is. Stand up. Look at it. As I said, I'm really accepting this on behalf of my father and our family. And my father passed away in July of 2001, just before 9/11. I have no idea what I would have thought about that. But, how many people here have been at this dinner before? Raise your hand, please. Well, that's nice. I can't raise my hand. This is my first year coming here. It won't be my last. I assure you of that. Now, how many of you really remember what everybody said at any award dinner you've ever been at, ever. You ever remember? Well, we're going to see if you can remember a couple of things that I have to say. Now let's go back in time a little bit. We're not going to keep you too long, honest. Does anybody remember a guy named Vinnie Barberino? Well, I'll tell you what you don't know about Vinnie Barberino. I don't think. You may. Some of you may. But you remember the character Horseshack? Ron Paolillo? Bobby Paolillo was his brother that worked for the dealership in Wallingford at the time. And believe it or not, and my brother John doesn't even know this, I do not believe I've ever told him. Well, I actually found out, and I asked the question, where the heck did this Barberino character come from? When I found out that Ron Paolillo actually attended Cheshire Academy, which I actually attended also, but I had cousins there. And I'd like to think that Vinnie Barberino was more of a collage of my cousins versus myself. But I actually ran into Gabe Kaplan, and Gabe Kaplan, you know, I asked him straight up and straight out, where did that character come from? Is it really true it was my cousins? And he said to me, he said, well, in all honesty, we changed one letter in the name. So if you notice, his name was B-A-R-B-A-R-I-N-O, and our name is B-A-R-B-E-R-I-N-O, so there we could never say anything. But that's true. He was fashioned after my cousins. I'm going to quickly tell you, I watched once in a while the old, you know, Welcome Back Carter. And I'll tell you, the other night I saw on the show, and always, I don't know if you remember, Gabe Kaplan would start out with a little bit of a joke. And he always had his wife sitting across from him. And the joke was this one, and I think you might like it. If you don't, I'm sorry. But does anybody, yeah, well, we're going to tell it anyway. Does anybody remember the little green turtles they used to sell in the store? Yes. You know, remember the little ones? I had more than one of them, no doubt. I don't think they survived too long, but I have. Anyways, the little green turtle, and this mother comes back, and she says, there's something wrong with your green turtle you sold me. Well, what's wrong with it? And he has her son, you know, right with her. Well, it has little puffy things on its feet. Puffy things on its feet. Let us see that little green turtle. So he brings the little green turtle, right? He looks at it. You're right. It has puffy things on its feet. So what do you want? I'd like another green turtle. So she goes back. He goes back, brings out a brand new green turtle live, and she hands it to her son. And her son says, wow! I have another turtle car. Vroom, vroom, vroom. So hopefully you might remember that. And I still don't believe I'm Vinnie Barberino. Now, one other thing, actually there's two other things, and then I'm going to get serious for a moment, and then I'm going to leave. You know, did anybody realize turkeys were extinct in the state of Connecticut? You realize that? Wild turkeys, not the brown. Well, they were. And I do some crazy things, I guess. But I was reading about the fact that turkeys were extinct, and I never had seen a wild turkey, but I was looking in, you know, the different magazines at the time, and I realized you could get them. So guess what? I found out the state of Connecticut had brought a few birds back trying in 1975. Well, you have to think about this. We're in 1978. I sent out, and I contacted a man in the Midwest, and I told him what I wanted to do. And he said something I didn't even understand. He said, you have to feed them on the ground. I said, where the hell do you feed these turkeys? He said, off the ground. But I'm going to feed these on the ground so they know where to find their food. Because I told him I wanted to reestablish turkeys in the state of Connecticut. So I sent him $1,000. He did what he said, and we got back 98 birds at the airport. All right? Half female, half male. Now the reason I'm telling this, you may forget me, but you're not going to forget those turkeys. Now, when I get the turkeys, they come in at the airport. Stanley's here who picked them up at the airport. He knows this is the absolute truth. I bring them up to my house. Stanley brought them up to the house. By the time, well, I called up the DEP and I asked them, I want to release 98 turkeys. You can't do it. You have to have a permit. Well, this is before they could get your number, right? So I didn't have to worry. My son had already released all 4 cages of birds. I never even saw the birds in the cages. But the exciting thing was the following year, I actually saw one that survived the winter with our father. And the fact is, what I was told, if only 10 birds, half male and female, survive, in 5 years that flock will have grown to 5,000 and be spreading out. The following year, the state released 30 more birds in Cornwall, Connecticut. Well, they believe they were a success, and I say, yeah, you're a great success, but I think we helped them a little bit. Now, if you have a turkey that just smashes into your windshield and damages your car, we have a body shop, but we're not responsible for the turkey. Just remember that. But they are what I always consider my turkeys. Now, on a little bit of a more serious note, and the reason I get to stand here tonight, and that's really, as I said, a father and a mother. We all know we come from a father and a mother. But here's the point. I went to Ellis Island recently. And when I went to Ellis Island, there was a reason. My grandparents all came in to Ellis Island. And my Italian grandparents came in the late 1800s, they came in. And I'm not going to tell you the other part yet. They came in and they had the first, Italians born in the United States as Americans. They were purebred Italian, which in a moment I am not. We had our father, Stephen Sr. We had his brother, Joe. He had his brother, George. He had his sister, May. And he had his other sister, Frances, who lived to 102. I wish I had those genes. But the fact is, and we had Joe Abbott. And Joe Abbott is another story for another day. But the point is, my father ended up fighting in World War II in Guadalcanal. His brother fought in World War II in China. Now we go to the other side of the family. Would anybody here that does not know for sure that I never said this, would you think I'm anything but Italian? No. All right. The other side of the family came in, and they came in right after the 1900s. My mother, Florence, was born. Her brother, Joe. Her brother, Bob. Our mother drove an Indian motorcycle with her brothers, all right, and her brother, Bill. Her brother, Bob, fought in World War II. He fought on a battleship. And he's one of the small guns on the battleship. It took a 2-man to load this. It got hit. And his friend was either injured or killed. He kept loading that gun alone until he got an award for it. I'm going to tell you what that is. That side of the family is German. So they fought in the German theater. My father was right there in the South Pacific in Guadalcanal. My point to all of this is this, and it's pretty simple. All of us, it took a journey for us to get here. In the case of our journey, if anybody doesn't think any given day, I do not wake up and I do not thank God that I was born in this country, our country, you're wrong. I never take this for granted. And I pray that no one does. Anyone living in this country, anyone that has come to this country, and certainly as our family as immigrants to this country, all I can say is this. We may not be the best in everything we do. We've made many errors, but one thing is for sure. God bless America.